Happy Wednesday. Almost said Thursday. Wow, that's a throwback. Happy Wednesday, THL. We are here with HearthCenter. It is week 1. Pro is coming up. Everything's coming up this week. It's exciting. I'm here with LotusKnight and JRJuggerLaw tonight. Lotus, I'll start with you. How are you doing on this first week of the new THL season?
I'm doing well, Donde. I'm happy to be here, happy to start a new season. Very excited for what is coming. I think this is going to be an explosive THL season. So many good players, so many different series, so much stuff.
Oh man, it's crazy, the competition from top to bottom in every series. It's so strong. And JR, congratulations on your first pro captain or second time pro captain? I think this is your second time, right?
Second time.
Second time, that's right. Well, welcome back to the fold and welcome to HearthCenter. Glad to have you here tonight.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I mean, I'm just happy to be more involved in the production side of things going forward with you guys, as I'll be looking forward to joining Lotus and Based for Schoolstone, so you can catch me on that as the weeks progress, because, I mean, honestly, I've been wanting to cast for a while, so this will be very exciting.
Well, it's always nice to have more people involved. You know, we can never have too many people who want to stream up, cast, do anything involved with content. So not only that, welcome to bringing you into that. And if anybody else out there wants to be involved, please let us know. We're happy to have you. More content is always good content, usually, I guess. I guess there could be bad content, but we don't stand for that.
Yeah, only if it's me.
No. It's going to be good content. And tonight is going to be great content because, as we talked about, this is week 1 of, well, all the series, but Pro in particular is what we talk about here. So we're going to be talking about Pro tonight. We're going to talk about those teams that were revealed last week on stream. Those are all 12 Pro teams, and we're going to power rank those teams as we like to do here on this show. And we're going to give our awards predictions, you know, the MVP award, the All-Pros, etc., as we go through the evening. And then, they'll be up on screen so you can clip it, do whatever you got to do, hold us to account for our opinions, and we'll come back around to it at the end of the season. And then, of course, we will talk about Week 1. And right now, everybody's tied at 0 points. I don't think anybody played a game yet when I took a look at the standings, but hey, that could happen tonight at some point, and then I'll probably have my spot get blown up. So let's talk about the teams. So let's start there. We're just going to go through, alphabetically because that's how they're listed on the site. Because Hat is a simple man who loves the alphabet, and that has led to the scheduling confusion.
I mean, he's one of those things. I wouldn't call him simple, but I would say he loves the alphabet.
Yeah, he's not simple. He's very complex. But in this, he takes the easiest path here, which I can totally understand based on how much work he does for this organization on a weekly basis. So I said all these words to basically say this is why we're going to talk about Aeon first. Because I didn't want it to look like I was...
And not because of any biases on your part,
any
right?
Bias. None at all.
No, definitely not.
So let me bring these up on screen here for you guys real quick. Hopefully this should work. But you're free to follow along on the website with us. But Aeon...
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Aeon consists of Ridiculous Hat, Coles, Markshire, yours truly, and now Fuel, the newest member of Aeon. So that is the order of the seeds here this week to start with, which I take umbrage with because Coles was well below me last season at the end. And so that's not how I expected this to go. But so this team is essentially the same as last season, just lost Typhoon, replaced with Fuel, which, Typhoon played so well when he joined midway through the season. And, Fuel's a great player. But he's got to live up to what Typhoon did. And the rest of Aeon needs to stay consistent with how well they played last season in order to get back to where we were. So, JR, as the guest, I'll start with you here. What are your thoughts as a whole on Aeon?
Well, are you okay with me spoiling my power rankings just for the sake of this one?
Let's not talk about power rankings. Just as, let's talk about the players. What do you think about the players on the team?
I mean, here's the thing that's funny about this. It's almost hard to gauge, what is happening in terms of the one switch. Because, if anybody thinks this team is not going to do well, I think you're crazy. They're still really strong. They've arguably got one of the most stacked rosters of the entire series. And you basically took, and that's the thing. Fuel is such a decorated player. But when you do consider how much Typhoon contributed last season, including everybody probably remembers, he was the one who got the final match win that Aeon needed to secure their spot in the finals against Tap Black. That was pretty huge. So seeing that, I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, I think what you said is accurate. Fuel has a lot to live up to, but I'm still looking at him and going, I have no doubt he will deliver, despite him, you know, having taken a break the last couple seasons.
Yeah, he's the type of player that can take a break, come back, and not really miss a beat, provided his collection is still where it needs to be. So I don't think I have any worries about him living up to those expectations. Ron's asking if we're getting low-key fuel or high-key fuel. It better be high-key, all caps lock fuel, because that's what I want. I'm just stopping short.
It's going to be high-key fuel, low-key flexing.
Low-key flex. Yeah, I'm stopping short of giving you guys my my James Hetfield impression. But that's not what you're getting tonight. And Base says, yes, pro initial seeding doesn't matter. We will not at you, but you're correct. It doesn't matter. It's going to shake out correctly as the season goes on. Usually takes a couple weeks, and then everybody's kind of where they deserve to be. Lotus, thoughts on Aeon before we move on to the team is okay. I guess this next team's okay.
So I think Aeon, they were a stacked roster last time. They got a downgrade on Fuel for Typhoon.
Ooh.
I think Fuel's just a hack.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, hot takes.
Yeah, hot takes. Nah, I'm just joking. Fuel's a great guy and a very strong player. I do think Typhoon is really strong. He a little bit carried you guys at the end, I have to say. Not that you guys were doing poorly, but he just had a crazy streak. And I think you guys have Aeon is still looking strong, but I think the game in pro has been raised this season. It's going to be a harder season. I like Aeon. I think it's going to be a good team, and we'll see what happens.
For sure. So let's talk about the second team, again, alphabetically, is Bad to the Bone. This is your team, Lotus. So we got Avi, Ego Waffle, Lotus, A2 Battleship, and Farron. So now, as far as I can recall, these are two new players on the team, Lotus, yourself, and Farron, with Avi, Ego, and A2 Battleship returning. Now, this is a team that had, all the expectations in the world last season to be one of the top teams. Many predicted them to be a finalist, if not a champion in pro, and it just didn't ever come together. Avi had a bit of a rough season by his standards. Ego was solid. A2 didn't have a great first season. So, Lotus, what are you and Farron doing here to turn things around? Like, what's your goal? What's your strategy here, without giving too much away? Unless you want to give specific things away, and then I'll be happy to take that information back to my team.
Sure. I'll say two things. I'll just say that Farron is a great player. I believe Avi and others met him in the qualifier, and how do you call it? Masters Tour?
Masters, yep.
If I'm not mistaken, he's a really strong player. Or if not Master Tour, it was in qualifier, but he's been doing really well. And I expect him to keep doing really well. And I have to also give it to Avi for being dumb enough to not listen to my advice that I'm not good in pro. And last time I was awful when it was in pro. So hopefully he believes me more than I do to make a comeback. And we'll see what happens there.
All right. JR, what do you think about here?
First of all, Lotus, does that mean I'm just as stupid for wanting to pick you up in the first place as well?
Oh, yeah. Everyone who tried to pick me up is dumb. Yes, I'm saying that.
No shade being thrown. I just had to throw that out there.
Say no more.
Yeah, right. Looking at this team, even ignoring the fact that I wanted to pick you up and I don't have you, I actually think you are going to exceed your own expectations, even if those expectations are very... I think, this is a team that I do realize, last season everybody really hyped them and they didn't quite deliver. But I feel like this is the team that's probably the hungriest to come back and really succeed, because... you had all these other teams from last season that were pretty close and in the running, and Bad to the Bone was one that they kind of realized, not early on, but when there were still about 3-4 weeks left, they were really out of it and really just struggling. So because of that, I know that they were definitely not happy with how they played, how they performed. They know they're capable of great things, though, so I feel like they're going to be using that to motivate them, and they're also just going to be learning from past mistakes.
Definitely, and I mean, if you look at the records from last season individually, none of them played that badly. Like, Avi led the team at 7-4. Like I said, that's a down season by his standards. Ego was 6-4. Manny Skull was 5-6. Pasco was 4-7. A2 was 4-6. So it's like they didn't crater or anything. It's just if you're winning 2 out of 3 matches a week as a team, you're not winning the week, and then you're costing yourself points. And that's kind of what happened to them all season, was they were just getting edged out a little bit here, a little bit there. And then Lotus beat them in the final week of the regular season, beat Manny specifically, so that they had to recruit him, because that makes all the sense, right? The guy beats you, so you gotta
no comment.
All right, so let's move on down the line here now. And again, no bias at all, so we're going to talk about JR's team now. Let's do process up next.
I just want to know that we're not talking about everyone who's here first on purpose. It's literally
I was going to say, like, how did this work out that way?
So future seasons, if you want yourself to be, or your team to be up there, earlier discussion, you need to be named like AAA or A2, something like make yourself start with A for sure, because that's the quickest way to get up at the top of the list. So due process. A returning team from a few seasons ago.
A returning team.
Team.
We were one of. This was my first captaincy for Pro. It was the beta season.
The beta season, right? Yep.
I decided to take a break from Hero to focus on Legacy and Pro. This did not go as planned. I will admit, it was quite a season. Actually, we didn't even do that badly, all things considered. We came in last, but if you actually look back at the standings from that season, the points were so close by the end. It was kind of absurd. Like, we had a really strong finish at the end, but unfortunately we just couldn't hold it all together. This season, I'm very sad I couldn't, recruit any of my former roster. I mean, 2 of those people are JRJuggerLaw and Icon, and they're part of FTL, so, I mean, if there was any way I could have convinced them to join, I would have, that would have been amazing, but that was just not happening. And Catman is still on the unknown, and then Starlax is taking a break from Pro this season. I honestly thought he was going to be playing on Top Hatted Titans again, so I didn't even think to reach out to him.
Well, you know what? Here I am on Top Hatted Titans, so there's that.
Oh, no, exactly. So, like, that was but I actually did talk to him, and I was like, would you have played anyway? And he was like, no, I'm not playing this season. So, here I am, completely new roster. Honestly, I'm kind of sad just because, like, I'm pretty happy. On one hand, I'm pretty happy with the team I have right here. Everybody's been very active in communicating. I think the fact that we're definitely underdogs has kind of worked to our advantage as far as we're really taking it seriously and we're really making sure we're not slack. Whether that actually translates into results, who knows? I guess the hard part for me is, like, when it comes to Pro Series, excuse my brief rant for the record, it's that I'm trying to really figure out, like, why did I do so poorly last season? What went wrong? Was it a lack of experience? Was it I misplayed a lot more than I realized? And it's hard to figure out, man. There were several matches I lost where I was just like, I felt like there was nothing I could do just due to some of the ways, the way some matches played out. This time, I'm just very open to seeing, like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to mess up. Maybe I made some mistakes as far as what I brought. I just really hope that having much more assistance from my team compared to last season, I'm hoping that's going to go a long way.
Well, I think, part of what you touched on there, and this is something that Pro does very well, is everybody's such a high-caliber player on Pro teams that when you have, 4 other players or more, if you're F2L and you have, like, 30 subs, if you have people looking at your replays, there's pretty much always something that can be done a little bit differently. Even if it might not necessarily have led to a win, it's an alternate line to consider. It's an alternate line to take, or to even practice and try in other matchups when something kind of goes in a similar direction. And that's one of the things that was hardest for me to break out of that mindset, was like, oh, there was absolutely nothing I could have done this game. Well, there's always a little something, even if it's not a winning line, it's a better line. So that's the thing that a good Pro team and good teammates will help with and help pick you up a little bit. Don't want to think about it. Sounds too draining. That's a battery pun in chat. Nice. But yeah, you've got 4 new players to your team here. In Dr. Bomb-D, Boolean, Goose, and It's Me, Mike V. It's Me, Mike V is not new to THL, and Dr. Bomb-D joined a little bit later and ended up playing a few games. But Boolean and Goose are brand new, so it'll be interesting to see how they do
Yes.
in Pro, just jumping right into Pro. So
I'll be honest with you. I was like, my plan was not originally, hey, I'm going to pick up 2 new guys who have no experience in Pro and haven't played in THL in a while. But the thing was, I kind of thought to myself, you know what? I got to consider my options. Here are 2 guys with pretty moderate-sized PRs who happen to know each other IRL. And who are not playing in any other series besides Pro. So I'm like, you know what? If you're devoting all of your attention to this, maybe that works to our advantage. I'm definitely trying to be open to that idea and have faith in my team. Because if I don't have any faith in them, then why the hell am I being captain at this point?
Yeah, there's no reason to write anybody off in the first week of the season. You mentioned the PR, which is something we'll actually get into later, actually, on another team. That was a point I wanted to bring up, but we will get there. So let's move to F2L for now. That's Forgot to Lose for those who are not aware, though they will
I did not know this.
They will tell you who they are because they're the defending 2-time champs right now. And no one's been able to beat them in the last few seasons, the actual numbered seasons of Pro. So we'll see if that changes here this time around. They've got Snake, Berserk, Rabobson, Itachi, and Liquid Ox, which is, as far as I know, just a straight shot-for-shot remake of last season's team. So they're good. They're a good team.
Yeah, they're okay.
Who are these people? Based ass. I hope that's shade. That's awesome.
That better be shade. I want to be throwing shade because I love these guys so much, and yet I want to throw shade. What's wrong with me?
Base knows all about F2L. She writes our pro articles, our predictions, if you will. So yeah, they're always in there doing well, doing work. Team that we don't really have to say much about. These are all very, very high caliber players, and they'll be looking to hold off everybody, giving them their A game every week. Lotus, what would you like to say about F2L?
I mean, F2L killed it last time. They've been amazing. They've been on a rampage through THL Pro. I think they're going to continue to be doing well. I think Itachi is a great player. I think Ox is a great player. I think Rabobson's a great player. Berserk, Snake, they're all super strong, all around 550 PR in other series. So looking forward to see if they can make it again. Just keep it going for a third time, or if we or Aeon or someone else can stop them.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Not much more else to say about them. I mean, everyone knows who they are, what they can do, what they will do if you don't prep. So that's
It almost seems unfair that all 5 of these players can be on a team together. That's kind of what it feels like to me.
That's Pro.
I know.
That is Pro.
That's Dallas.
I will say this though, because I do think this is something funny that's worth mentioning. I was responding to a tweet of Rabobson's earlier today, and when I checked his Twitter page, he had a logo for F2L, and then underneath it, "Embrace the Villain Narrative."
I thought you were going to say I checked his Twitter page and he was banned again, but that would have been...
that did happen. That unfortunately happened, and I know why.
Multiple times.
Yeah, but that's a separate issue altogether. No, but it says "Embrace the Villain Narrative," and all I can think to myself is like, you know what? That's way too appropriate for this team.
I mean, when you're on top like that, everyone wants to knock you off. They're not afraid to talk a little bit of trash. You know, Icon gets in there, Itachi gets in there. Itachi and I had a very nice conversation in Discord today. Not our typical fare, but that's the thing is, they know they're the bad boys. They know they're the ones that everybody guns for. So why not lean into it a little bit? So that's totally fine. I mean,
but I think it's not even so much like
antagonist.
I don't even think they're such a hateable team or something. I think it's more of just that, like, how do I put this? It's sort of like people not liking the Yankees. You don't like them because they're so good.
Exactly.
Like there's nothing wrong with them as people, but it's like, can other people win for once?
No, I mean, I like Rabobson's a teammate of mine in Legacy. I love the guy. No, not going to complain. Itachi, we beef publicly, but very nice dude, and we, I feel like we enjoy each other's company despite the beef. But like that's the thing is, like someone like Berserk.
Friendly beef.
Friendly beef. But Berserk got to cast with him this past weekend. Such a nice dude and such a good caster.
Berserk is super fun.
Amazing. So
he's one of my creepy specs on ladder that I just sometimes am playing. Like, oh, I'm going to creep on Berserk. There are a few people that do that. I've done that to base a lot as well. She's noticed.
She sees what you did there.
That's why I have no friends on the Asia account I'm playing right now. No one can creep on me. Sitting in that gold. But enough about me. We're talking about pro. And speaking of based, that's what we call a segue. We're going to move into For the Boys.
Hey.
Perfect segue. So this one is Diamond's team. Diamond, the captain of every series that we have. We've got Dabs, Based Ink, Triss, Nine Eyebrows, and Mata. So Mata, Triss, and Nine Eyebrows have been on several Diamond teams throughout the past few seasons. Dabs is a new addition there, and Based is actually Based I think was on this team, or what it was called last season. I forget the name off the top of my head. Menagerie, I believe, right?
Yeah, the Menagerie.
Yeah, Menagerie.
Yeah, actually, no, this was mostly the same team, with the exception of Triss.
Is.
Triss has been on several Diamond teams, so that's why it's kind of throwing me off there. But yeah, it was Base, Nine Eyebrows, Dabs, and Mata was Smork. I think actually he might have taken over for Triss, to be honest. So yeah, so Dabs came in midway through the season, had a very Typhoon-esque run, finishing 5-1. So that looking to put together an entire season at that caliber would be very, very helpful for the Menagerie. Nine Eyebrows looking to recreate his 7-4 season as well. So, this is a team that was right in the hunt right up until the very last matches were played, and it's essentially the same team. They've got to be considered a capable team in pro. And I guess that's my initial thoughts of them here. JR, what do you think about everybody here on I almost called the Menagerie For the Boys?
Well, I definitely wanted to make Diamond wonder what my opinions were going to be for his team, because you'll have to find out. And I'll be honest with you, my opinion of this team is very middle of the road. Honestly, no. No, honestly, I feel like this is a team that's probably going to be in a very similar position to where they were last season, except I think they're going to do a little bit better. I wouldn't say I feel super confident they're going to make playoffs, if only for the fact that we're talking about 1/3 of the teams that make it out of the 12.
Very true.
So that's always never something I feel confident about, but do I think they're going to be in the running for it? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they're a team you got to give the best to every week, and if you don't, you'll get smacked. So, that's the way pro is. You got to be on your game.
And that's all Diamond's teams. They always, with the exceptions, they're always there, and they always have a good chance. He puts a good effort into captaining. I've been captained by him before. I think he does a great job.
Yes.
So I think For the Boys has a good chance just because of their style and how they can do as a team.
Also, shameless plug,
I would say
Diamond is the one who created the legendary logo for my pro team, so
there you
seriously, do not shirk on his artistic abilities, please. Thank
you.
I would like to submit that Lotus just created the slogan for the Diamond teams. Diamond teams, they're always just there.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Just a little bag of Diamond. They're always right there. They're always right on the cusp of being playoff teams or just in the playoffs. But he's got to make that make that push. The teams are capable. He's going to make that push to get them to the top spot. So a Diamond team stuck in Diamond, THL Diamond would be.
I feel bad that Diamond just became a meme. Became a meme from that whole new ladder revamp. My god.
Poor dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I just wish he shines bright like a diamond.
He could go
too obvious.
He could go with a little Latin flavor and change his name to Diamante. That way it's a little bit different, but still has the same diamond feel. And he's just getting added up and down in chat right now.
If only there was a Canadian pronunciation for diamond, that would be hilarious.
Whoa, you have to wait till we introduce the Canadian team for that segue. We're not there yet.
Oh, right, I forgot. Ooh.
I can't work off of that, but I can work off of... this is actually a different team that is all of the same country. It's Serenity, and that is Dexter's team. So this is... I believe they're all from India, which is fantastic to have so many players. We have, the community... Dexter's been in THL for a while, and actually GCT Turf has played THL before as well, so he's not new. But
he was Lotus's sub on X Energy.
There you go. Yep. So we've had, and I actually think I played him, to be honest with you. We've had people from all over before, and I don't think we've had a full contingent of players from India, which is super cool. As you'll notice on screen here, a couple of the names are in red because they are subs, and they're actually going to be permanent subs. So this team's already a little different than what we revealed on stream. So we've got GCT Turf, SCD HRUV. Skudrov. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or if it is even pronounced. I think it might just be you say the letters. Mycroft 92, Dork Vader, and Dexter. And now Dexter's the player that I wanted to talk about earlier because you brought up PRJR.
Yeah.
PRJR. Dexter, not the highest PR, but even he played pro last season and did just fine. So there's nothing saying that you have to have a high PR to be successful in pro. You just have to put in the work. And Dexter, I'm trying to find his record last season. Scrolling. He might not have played the last week of the season, so that might be why.
No, he didn't. He was on Menagerie, and then at some point in the middle of the season, he quit. I don't remember.
Right. Dexter, he's captained quite a few times, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
He hasn't done amazing in pro, but I believe he did really well in Legacy when I played for.
He's had his fair share of, like, generally speaking, Xynergy has been known for their success. I actually played on the team for 2 seasons, one of which we made it to the finals. Sadly, we lost there, but I can definitely attest to him being a very solid captain and one who really puts in a lot of effort with every team that he's on. Which is saying a lot considering the time difference and circumstances he's under compared to everybody else.
Oh yeah, it's tough, when you're that vastly different time zone to the rest of the player base, or a majority of the player base. I mean, he's closer to right at home against the players who are from Australia and New Zealand that we have, but take the East Coast of the U.S. and that's a pretty hefty time difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, this is
just consider when you actually look back at his history and some of the ridiculous times of the games he's played. Like, no joke, he's played like ridiculously late or ridiculously early games to be on stream for like playoffs or stuff. The man's dedication to this to this community is something to behold, I swear.
And you're right, I did find Dexter's stats. He was 2-2 last season with an 8-9 record. So he's right around 500, which again, for that PR, you would expect someone to come in and have a tough time, but he didn't seem to have much of a tough time. So hard to really place what this team's going to do just because we don't know a whole lot about most of these players. Like I said, I know GCT Turth is he's in there in Masters Cups. He's very, very solid player, always high legend right around there. So at the top of the list there, they're going to have a solid anchor, but we'll have to see exactly how the rest of the team is able to respond to their first season here in THL.
Agreed.
So now we need to talk about our other international team, slightly international. that should be their actual name, slightly international,
right?
Because they're up north in Canada. They're captained by Saku, our friendliest Canadian, and they have Tweeg. I should say, Stay the Blazes home. Tweeg, Yoxter, Wengor, Corridon, and Phoenix.
Wait, does that make Quaz our second friendliest Canadian?
I mean, by default, right? Like, because it's like no slight to anybody, but it's hard to beat Saku's friendliness.
I know.
Hey, no
it's really hard. I think even Quaz will concede to that.
Saku is so friendly. He's like as sweet as syrup.
God, that's accurate.
It's crazy how I've never even heard the dude mad, and I feel like I've had more conversations with him than almost anybody in THL from having been teammates with him. Talking about content stuff with him, he's just absolutely the friendliness is genuine.
I really hate saying this about people in general because it's like, you're free to have your own opinions, but I have to make an exception with Saku. If you have a problem with Saku, then the problem is you.
That's entirely correct.
He's such a genuinely good guy. I refuse to criticize him. I mean, I will talk smack about him, but friendly smack.
Well, yeah. And he'll absolutely take it with a smile, and he'll dish some back, but it's not serious. But yeah, so his team is another one I don't know too much about. Tweeg has been in THL, so we know Tweeg is a very solid player. Yeah. No shock there. Yoxter, funny story. I played against Yoxter in a Masters Cup 2 weeks ago, had no idea who he was, and then I saw the team get submitted. I was like, what the hell? How did this happen? So, Yoxter, I apologize in advance for playing you and then defriending you. It wasn't anything personal. I just had no friends list space anymore, and I would have kept you if I knew you were playing THL, because that's pretty much what I limit my friends list to now, is THL. So,
hashtag first world problems, am I right?
Yeah, I get it. Man,
I don't actually get that. I've been in THL for 7 seasons. I've never had to delete someone.
The more you do content, the more people you will acquire. So the more you do Schoolstone, it's going to be a problem for you. Trust me on that.
I believe it.
And mind you, I don't even remove the people. And granted, like, I could remove people who don't really play with us anymore, because there are a fair number of those. But it's still people who it's like, I mean, why? Why would I remove them? You know? Like,
So-
there's always, I find there's always going to be some people friends list who are not from THL, so it's like, whoop, gone.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to remove the people you're friends with, like, actually in real life too, because it's like, hey man, why'd you remove me? Well, I mean, you haven't logged on.
Yeah,
in
and that's-
months, yeah, but we're actually friends. So
Right, and that can include people who haven't even played. Like, I have friends who I still have on Hearthstone, even though they haven't played in, like, years, most likely.
Yeah, 200 is definitely too low. There's no reason not to have, you know, a larger friends list, but that's an argument for a different day. But this team here, I'm interested to see, you know, how competitive they are. I mean, I know they're going to be, you know, out there trying, you know, prepping and whatnot. I just don't know much about, you know, the bottom 4 players on the team. I have heard that Yoxter and Wengor are brothers, I believe, from Saku. So, you know, Yoxter is out there playing in Master Source. He's obviously dedicated enough to, you know, to be in the competitive scene, and we'll have to see if this team can be a bit of a. I would guess that they'd have to be considered to be a shock to be taking out some of the top flight teams that we know so much about in Pro.
Quick question would this be the first time that we've had 2 brothers playing in THL simultaneously?
I don't believe so. I feel like this has happened before. Well, I mean, we've had Quirky Turtle and Super Murloc, who aren't brother and sister, but they're married.
I was gonna say that's different.
But they're related.
and for the record, they weren't even the first couple to do that.
No, I know. But I'm just saying that playing under the same roof has not been it's not a first time thing. But it is cool to see see brothers playing. So 2 brothers.
Trying to keep track of all the past like records and like past seasons, it gets to be hard after a while when you're like.
Yeah. Not to mention
you've been
the
around
different
so
series too. Yeah, it's like, oh, this team has been together. Well, now they played Legacy, so it's a little different. But
Exactly.
so we'll move on down the list here to Tap Last 103. This is not the 103rd version of Tap Last, but they have been around for quite some time, so it might feel that way.
Yeah.
So this is where we lost Typhoon as Aeon lost Typhoon to Tap Last, where he's historically played before. Lawful Dog makes his return to THL. C-Mac is here as always and captaining. The last champ is back too, though he played Hero last season. And then Twos is back. So a lot of returning players here for Tap Last. A lot of solid players. I have no doubt they've all been practicing even if they're not playing in THL. So there's no question about the quality of this team. Lotus, I'll lead off with you on this one. Thoughts on Tap Last's roster?
So I think Tap Last is looking really good. They brought Twos back and Lawful Dog, who I believe it's either Lawful Dog or Last Champ was taking a season off. So they're back.
Lawful played like 1 game, I think. He subbed in at one point.
He did.
Yeah, I think it's looking like a strong team. C-Mac is always a great player. Typhoon is a really strong player. Twos has been grinding. He got number 2 in one of the qualifiers the other day. So
Nice.
That's insane.
I think they're going to do
so
really
close.
What was that?
I think we lost Lotus.
Oh no.
Oh, I just think he's going to do really well, and I'm excited to see them in action. I really want to face Twos, and if that happens, we're going on stream and doing something.
Damn.
JR, your thoughts on Tap Last?
This is just a really solid looking team, which is really saying something considering last season I would say Tap Last also looked very solid. I suppose you could argue that, because if I remember correctly, I think they had a few players last season that weren't really that didn't really compete in other series, right? They weren't as veterans of THL, or am I wrong about that?
Are you talking about last year's roster construction or this
last
year's?
season's roster? Yeah.
Let's take a look at last season's roster.
Because I know Nerdstrom, what was it? Nerdstrom Valdis? I'm trying to remember.
Well, Nerdstrom, or Valdis in particular, is still playing in Pro, just on a different team, which we will see shortly.
Oh, right. Right.
But yeah, in Heat Shock as well. So they lost Valdis and Heat Shock to another team.
That's right.
Bill Snyder is not playing Pro this season, I believe. He was on the team last year. So essentially this is the only player on the team is the captain C-Mac from last season. So it was C-Mac, Heatshock, Nerds from Valdez, Bill Snyder, and yeah, they were a playoff team, but they're not exactly replacing those players with lower caliber players by any means.
Exactly.
So as long as, I know this is a group of guys that have all played together for a while and are all, very close anyway, so it's not like they're going to have chemistry issues. They're going to fit right in together, and they're going to be competitive again, despite the loss of 80% of their roster.
Yeah, I think the most important thing I would emphasize is that no matter how you slice it, like how you want to interpret the changes, I feel like, hey, they're still a very strong team, and they've got a lot of potential. I mean, I think whether you look at this as a slight downgrade or an upgrade, like, what do you want? Like, this is a strong roster. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, not much else to say about it. They're going to be competitive, no doubt about it. They have. I guess we say that about every team that has the chops, and then some don't end up being competitive. But they have no excuse not to be competitive. Is what I'm getting at. Like everybody.
And I'm relying on that for my team's success.
There you go. So that is tap last. Let's move on down here to Every Day We Trifle In. And now you might notice and say to yourself, "Hey, Donde, that's not in alphabetical order. What happened? You said this was in alphabetical order." So this is a team that changed their name like 3 days before the reveal stream. So
I blame Skittles.
It is his fault. He's the captain.
I love Skittles, but I blame him.
They were the Teenage Mutant Blackjack Stunners, which fits in the alphabetical order here. So the story checks out. Just want you to know that. We even had a logo at one point for it. That's how far along this thing came. But now they're Every Day We Trifling instead. So I just want to put the kibosh on any sort of shenanigans being called, because I know Ron Mexico is going to be sitting out there. He likes it. He says great name change though. Amazing team as well. Very nice, Ron. Thank you. Agent and Pro. So this is your Mumked, Lil Hearthy, Sanguine, Agent PWE, and Jimmy Eat Shoes. I think this team is sneaky scary. Like, Lil Hearthy, we know, dominated Pro last season. Sanguine is a great player. Agent is a great player. And your Mumked had, I believe it was either Legacy or Pro that he did really well in last season. He had one really good season. And Jimmy Eat Shoes came in and went 3-0, I believe, in his tenure as a sub last season.
I believe so.
So he is no doubt going to be okay in his first full season to go out and potentially dominate again. Yeah, 3-0, 9-5, ended up as the 4 seed on Taste the Rainbow Skittles team from last season. So yeah, this is a good looking team, JR.
I'm going to be honest, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but I feel like I'm underrated team because I'm looking at this team again, and I'm like, holy crap, these guys are probably way scarier than I realized. I think I'm going too far off of what happened last season, which, to be fair, they still did pretty well for themselves. Or Mumkid and Lil Hearthy were still among some of the best performing players in all of Pro last season. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mumkid also made All-Stars as well, right?
He did not make All-Stars. He made All-Pro, if that's what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying.
Well, because All-Stars is a different thing, and he didn't make
I know, but, like, same idea, though. Come on. Are you really going to get technical with a lawyer, Donde?
That's a mistake. Well, yeah, he went 8-3, 28-18 in game record, so no doubt about that. He was dominant and ended up...
So he was on All-Pro, so yeah. And that's the thing, like, I'm looking... Jimmy Eats Shoes, if what happened last season is any indication, I think I see big things coming from him. Sanguine, I would love to see her dominate in Pro, I mean, I'm sure Quirky Turtle is, like, cheering on her from the sidelines and being, like, represent, Absolutely. Sure. And then Agent PWE, I know, was the third person who also played on this team last season. So
he only had one game on Taste the
Rainbow. Oh, he did?
Yeah, he subbed in 1 week just like Sanguine did.
Okay, I know I saw him very last week, so that's what threw me off. But either way, like, looking at this roster, they're very strong. They're retaining essentially the core of what was really strong, of what really helped this team be so powerful. So I guess I would say, like, I put them slightly above, basically what I said about For the Boys before.
You're not going to power rank them right now, are you? Because we're not there yet.
No. I'm making a comparison. There's a big difference. No, but I would say when I said before with, like, For the Boys, how I think that they're probably, I wouldn't say they're guaranteed to make playoffs, but they're definitely going to be, like, very much in the run. I would say very similarly to, I have a very similar opinion about Every Day We Triflin', but maybe I put them just slightly above and say they have an even better shot. Just looking at the roster and just looking at the history of this that 1 and 2 seed from last season.
I would agree.
I think something to add is this is a Skittles team, and I say this every time, but Skittles is just so good with lists.
Such a good captain.
It was amazing
Yeah.
in duos, because I'm not as careful with lists as he is. He thinks individual card choices to a crazy level. So that just boosts their players so much, and I will never stop saying this about Skittles. So I think Every Day with Trifling is going to be an underrated team just because they have him, they have some very strong players, and basically all seeds. I think they're an exciting team.
You're going to make us taste the rainbow, let's be honest.
I do love that he comes up with unique names every season for his teams.
Yeah.
Unique not only in the sense that they're different every season, but they are just like very out there. Like Every Day with Trifling is a fun name. You know, I guess I don't entirely.
Even though I would like Party Rock Anthem to get out of my head now. Thanks for that, Skittles.
I get the Party Rock thing. I don't necessarily get the where the Every Day We Trifling part came. But hey, whatever. Oh, you can okay boomer me in chat if you want. That's fine.
Yeah. Can we get Donde making
time.
an Every Day We Shuffling noise?
No.
Aww.
Sorry.
You've been overruled, Lotus.
Aww.
So
I will also say though, when I played this team last season, Skittles was actually still playing on itself. He wrecked me 3-0, but I gained a lot of valuable insight from our match, and it really I'll admit it wasn't. Excuse me, it wasn't quite enough to really help me turn things around, even with how early it was in the season. But I definitely think I'll be using some of the tips I got from him back then and being able to apply it more effectively this season. So Skittles, if I beat your team, it's all your fault.
That's a good a good feeling, I guess, if you're if your Skittles to say like, you know what, we lost, but it was my fault. I did it to myself. I guess it's not a good feeling, but it lets you feel a little bit of accomplishment, I guess. So.
And just one last thing on that also. When I played his team in Legacy last season, he was we were talking about like matches coming, and I told him what happened with my match against her mum kid, and I was like, oh, I won. He was like, oh, congrats. Like, wait, whose team were you playing against? And I was like, wait, I was playing against yours. How did we not realize this until now?
So from one of the more hyped teams of this season upcoming to one of the teams that was hyped last season and kind of fell off down the stretch a bit, the Beard Boys. So this is a largely similar team to last season with Honest Abe, Myanodon, Inzi being the newcomer, Lesmos, and Boozosaurus. That's right, all cap Boozosaurus, still repping no lowercase letters. I have to resist the urge to type his name properly whenever I type it into things. But he's all caps in the way that, like, when you play a 12-12 Edwin on turn 2, you start exclaiming in all caps.
I hate that.
Don't be honest, how long is it going to be before you're fully over that incident?
When I get a 12-12 Edwin of my own on turn 2, and then I probably still lose because...
That's fair.
Yeah, still with the PTSD, it's true. It was really bad. It was tough. It was hard to win. It was impossible.
Oh no, it was heartbreaking to watch. It really
I was like, cool. This is good. All right, that's enough about me. I had nothing to do with Pro. Nothing to do with
Seems
Pro.
good, brah.
But speaking of March Madness / April Absurdity, Inzi is in the Elite 8 right now and is added to this team. So you can't say that they went backwards in terms of quality. On the players that they have on this team. So perhaps adding Inzi to the fold will be that last piece that they need to make the push. This is a strong team. They were strong last season. I expect them to be strong again. And Hockey Boys is the one player that they lost. So he went 5-6. He's solid.
Literally was just going to ask that.
Yeah, Hockey Boys is the one missing link here. Only Hockey and Boozosaurus had a sub 500 record, and Booz was 5-6. So that's right there on the cusp. So yeah, as long as they hold the line, strong competition abound. They should continue to be a a force here. And I will say, Myanodon, I wish only the best for you, even though you're no longer a Tavern Talk member, because he's getting actually like paid to cast now, which is super sweet. So like, congratulations to you, man. That's very well deserved. And just wanted to give you a shout out there because like I said, you definitely deserve that. But
wait,
thoughts
you
on
can
the
get paid to do this kind of thing?
Yeah,
I know, right? Shocking.
Wait, you guys are getting paid for this?
I mean, Hat signs my check every end of the month, so I'm just waiting for him to continue sending it. Or if you want to sponsor me, or if you just want to give us a sub, we're very happy with a sub, which you can do through.
You're too much.
Thank you, Lotus. I appreciate the plug. But not too much to say about these guys since we know what they're capable of. Anything else we want to say before we move on to another very familiar team? I'll take that as a no. All right. The unknown is Desharmo's team with Solo Jazz, Desharmo, Ron Mexico, Catman 1950, and Brushy Tuna. So Brushy, I believe, played on the unknown before, left last season, came back. Icicles is subbing for Desharmo this week. Thank you, Ron. I believe I saw that in the email that came through. But yeah, Desharmo out until I guess further notice at this point. So that is an unfortunate situation, but we hope only the best for you and your family, my friend. And we did have some encouraging news, thankfully, today, as things aren't progressing in the correct direction. But I'll leave the rest to Desharmo here because that's not really my place to discuss. But this team underperformed a little bit last season compared to where they hoped to be. So their solution to the underperforming was to bring in Brushy Tuna, which doesn't make any sense to me because that's only going to go the wrong. I'm just kidding. I love Brushy. Just bagging on you a little bit, my friend. But no, Brushy, good dude. Been doing a great job casting. Really appreciate that. Actually, no, wait. Brushy was on the team last season. I apologize.
He was.
But you know what? I tried to search him, and I couldn't find it because for some reason he's stuck an underscore in between Brushy and Tuna this time. And there's no underscore in last season.
It's just to confuse you.
Yeah, 100%. He got me. He boomed me. Tuna, Tuna's not trash, Ron, but it is like easily like the 5th or 6th best sandwich. So, I mean, let's all agree that it doesn't hold a candle to like turkey, roast beef, chicken salad. Impromptu.
It's like comparing apples and oranges. Come on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's okay.
I also love a good spicy tuna roll. Come on.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, no doubt about that. But not sandwich material all the time. I'm just saying. Okay. You can go if you wanted to be like Brushy, cracked black pepper turkey, then that would be that'd probably be the nuts right there.
Oh yeah, that would be the nuts.
But yeah, this is a team, very very capable team, very well-oiled machine. I'm sure Desharmo coming off of being the crossover player of the season, and also fantastic captain, very involved. This team will bounce back. I believe they'll be very strong, and no weakness here, top to bottom on this team. You're getting a strong opponent no matter who you're playing.
I mean, I was gonna honestly make a weakness about Brushy Tuna joke, but I can't in good conscience do that. So.
After we've just bagged on him for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
I know. This is a really strong team. I don't think anybody was particularly surprised when Desharmo announced before the season was even over that everybody was going to be sticking around. So
yeah,
I mean, it's a pretty solid combination. It is unfortunate that they only barely made the playoffs at the end and then just got crushed by F2L in the semifinals. But I think that's going to make them all the more determined to rectify that come this season.
Yeah, I mean, if you're hanging around in the top 4, top 5 every season, like they have been since their inception now, two seasons ago, this is their 3rd season, you're doing something right. So, no doubt they'll be back, they'll be strong. And now, what I want to know is this last team here is the Wash U Mishas. So
Excuse me.
Washington University, to my understanding.
That was obligatory. I am so sorry.
They are. I love that. We've had a couple like organizations here in THL, a couple esports organizations in THL with varying success. Last season we saw the Not YJs, which was a legacy team out of Georgia Tech, did pretty well for themselves. So it looks like the college teams could very well be a strong combination. You got a bunch of guys and girls that play together. potentially live together, or at least in the same area. That's a good connection to have. So we know Valdis and Heat Shock. They were on pro teams last season, but we don't know much about ESO, Galacta, Agarnir, and Ufric. I love the name Ufric. I don't know if it's Ufric or like Ufric. Either way,
I feel like either works, because you could just be like Ufric or Ufric. Like, you can't go wrong.
I want to know the story behind that name. We will have to get the story behind that name. But this is a team that, with the players that we know, Valdis and Heat Shock, if the other players that are on their caliber, it's going to be a very strong team. And I think, like I said, these teams that have an already personal connection tend to have a very, very good advantage, because you don't have to worry about having any sort of chemistry. You already got it. So hopefully this team, proves that is kind of a key to success for future teams, and hopefully we see some more of these college organizations or high school organizations, whatever group you belong to be in THL. Anybody got anything else they want to say about Wash U before we move on to our actual power rankings?
I will just say, I feel like I want to give this team the benefit of the doubt just because of Heat Shock and Valdis playing on this team, but I feel like of all the teams that are playing, this might be the hardest one to. Along with Serenity, I would say they're the two teams that are kind of the hardest to pin down as far as how higher expectations should be of them.
Right. I think this is going to also be a really good week to test them, because the Unknown is kind of a great team to test this kind of thing. They're very strong. They can do really well, but they're not one of the teams they don't tend to completely crush and deny all score to the teams facing them.
Exactly.
Like some other teams sometimes do. So I would expect this to be an interesting match. If they can manage to beat or get close to the Unknown, that means we can expect them to be a strong team. If they're and they get crushed by the Unknown, we know what we're seeing in that case.
All right. I think that's a reasonable assessment. So we'll have to revisit that next week when we have a recap segment for what happened in week 1. But for now, we're going to finally reveal our power rankings. So we individually ranked all 12 teams, and we're going to go ahead and cross-compare what we've got here, which I will pull up shortly. And then you guys can lambaste us for it, or praise us if you happen to agree.
I feel like my team is going to lambaste me for my ranking.
That's all right.
You'll all know why very quickly.
Well, let's go ahead and pull it up. Without further ado, here are the official HearthCenter power rankings to open the season. We have a lot of similarities, it would appear. These were all done in private, by the way. Nobody saw each other's power rank. Actually, I think Lotus posted his after we had already both posted ours individually.
He did, yes.
So not influenced in any way by the power rankings. But you can see F2L at the top, top 2 on everybody's power rankings. Aeon is in the top 4. So those are two pretty universally considered playoff teams. And then it starts to get a little wonky from there on down. So I personally liked Everyday We Trifling quite a bit. I think they're going to be a very strong team. I have them all the way at the 3rd spot, with the Beard Boys rounding out the playoffs. And then we have JR, You've Got Bad to the Bone, and the Unknown as the other two, which are perfectly fine picks, I think. Bad to the Bone underperformed a little bit last season. You and Lotus both expect them to bounce back. I have them, just slightly outside the playoffs. And then looking over to Lotus, you've got the Unknown at 3 with JR at 4, and I have them all the way down at 7. I guess that would be one of the bigger disparities that we have. I think there's, like you guys just said, they're a strong team. But
there's just a lot of competition here.
There's a lot of competition across the board.
Yes,
it's why I'm scared to see if my team can keep up, because it's geez, who knows?
Oh yeah.
I want to believe it's possible that we can actually do way better than I'm predicting us to, and and especially way better than you guys are predicting them to. Thanks for the support, guy.
Well, it's tough across the board, and I don't expect the teams that are in the bottom 3 to be very, very far off of the the 4 slot. I would expect that there's I don't think that there's a team out there that's going to be like the Whipping Boys or or anything along those lines this season. It's going to be competitive teams across the board. I happen to have Washed U a lot higher than you guys too. I have them at 8. JR, you got them at 11, and Lotus, you have them at dead last. So let's talk about that for a
I
second.
just don't know any.
Oh, damn.
It's more of a team that I don't know enough to judge.
But I guess then we could look at the flip side there, and I have Serenity in last, and you have Serenity in 8th, and we don't know much about them either.
It's a
Well,
funny...
I know a bit more of just trusting decks to make a good team.
All right.
That's kind of what I'm going.
Funny enough, with all the randomness happening, we all stuck for the boys at exactly 9th. So that's
true.
That's just funny.
I mean, I just hope they shine bright like a diamond.
That's the second time you've made that joke.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I know.
It was fine. It's not okay now.
Yeah,
it's not okay,
you
man.
can't reuse material in the first hour of the season.
Don't worry.
Hey, we haven't even gotten to
reprimand
the
him
end
after
where
the
my
stream.
material
Donde.
just gets
It's okay.
We will reprimand him after the stream. Not now. I don't like to be mean. Oh goodness. Something changed on screen.
Nobody can see, but I'm wagging my finger at Lotus right now.
Oh no, we can see right now. I switched back to cams, so
Oh, damn.
So you better not be lying.
No. People can see.
Alright, we're going to talk about the awards now. So in addition to the power rankings, we are going to give our best guess at who we think is going to take home each piece of proverbial hardware in the Pro Series. The one thing we didn't talk about, we didn't get like best captain, because it's really hard to guess that, especially since a lot of it relies on DQs, which is often not in anyone's control. So we are Matt, you did miss the power rankings. However, it's going to be back up on the screen in a second because it's all in the same graphic. That's called consolidation, my friend. So we're just going to go ahead and, if only you could watch the VOD, we're just going to start right at the top and take the prestigious individual honor as our first prediction here. It's MVP. So here's who we think is going to be MVP this season. Guess what? All three of us picked a different player. I said Liquid Ox. JR says Zabe. And Lotus says Typhoon. I have no problem with any of these three picks. I think they're all very, very logical picks for the MVP.
I agree. They're all great players, and I think they've been doing really well. I could see all of them there. Yeah, good luck to all of them and to all the possible.
I feel like maybe I'm just doing this to F2L out of spite. I mean, not really. I mean, the truth is, I didn't put F2L, just for the record, for number 2 in the rankings because I don't want them to win. I actually just think that Aeon is gonna overtake them because, I mean, you've heard of great rivalries. I feel like this is one of them. So we'll see if I'm right or not.
I truly appreciate your confidence in us.
I mean, I wish I could say I appreciate your confidence in my team, but you clearly don't have any.
No, I have plenty of confidence in you. I have plenty of confidence.
No.
I think Due Process will be much stronger in this iteration than they were the first time.
I appreciate that, but it's hard because I know that's possible just for the fact that when our first season happened, we had a really strong team but didn't really perform. And the truth is you could argue our team isn't as strong looking, but I could easily see us doing better anyway. So I'm going to just do what I can as captain and hope for the best.
Well, now's the time to turn that around.
Yeah, I also want to know that I expect myself to be completely wrong here.
Well,
he's being honest.
Thanks for the confidence, man. Yeah. Well,
that's what I'm here for.
Oh, also, one other thing. I put my team at 8th because I couldn't decide how much I wanted to overhype them or just agree with the everybody who was just ranking them pretty low. So I decided to put them at 8th place because we were ranked 8 out of 8 in the power rankings the first time we played.
A little bit of callback. All right.
Yeah. Looking forward to trying to prove everybody wrong this time after I insisted we weren't going to finish last, and we finished last, so... It'll be interesting.
Well, let's talk about Rookie of the Season. So this is a player who has not participated in Pro before, but some of these players have participated in other THL series, but the rule is that you can't have played at least half a season in Pro. So the rookies we have here are GCT Turth for myself, Sanguine for JR, and Farron for Lotus. So I talked about GCT Turth when we were talking about Serenity. JR, we know about Sanguine and her capabilities. I want to know about Farron. Lotus, you know more about Farron than any of us. I need to hear about why they are going to be Rookie of the Season.
So I'll be honest with my argument here. It's going to be a bit fun. I have barely interacted with Farron because I joined the team 2 days before or 1 day before the reveal because Avi came and said, I really need a player. And I'm like, sure, I'll do it. So this
As
was
most
more
great things are started at the last second, yes.
exactly. And I thought, you know what? If this is how it is, I'll do it, and I'm going to have fun this season. Avi said he's a great player. Chu said he's really strong, and so I decided to trust them. I think they're really, really good player. They both said he's a delight to play with. I'm excited to see what he can do.
I gotta ask C-Mac. Well, Theron wasn't sober, or when Diamond wasn't sober?
The answer might be yes.
I say the answer might be yes.
I'm going to assume Farron was the one who wasn't.
Both? Nice.
Oh, God.
That's what I thought.
That sounds about right, too.
Man, it's probably dragged him kicking and screaming there.
Seriously, Jesus.
So let's transition into what we think is going to be our top 10, essentially the all-pros. And these are in no particular order. At least I know you both said they were in no particular order, and I know mine's not.
Correct.
So let's pop those up on the screen here. More hot takes. So I said GCT Turth, obviously, as Rookie of the Season. I think he's going to be top 10 as well. Heat Shock, Desharmo, Rebob, Honest Abe, Inzi, Jimmy Eat Shoes, Ridiculous Hat, Typhoon, Eggo Waffle. JR, you've got Ridiculous Hat, Lil Hearthy, Liquid Ox, Bobson, Your Mum Kit, Sanguine, Honest Abe, me, for some reason, LotusKnight, I believe in more, and Desharmo. And then, Lotus, you had Avi, R-Hat, Eggo, Typhoon, Twos, Berserk, Base Tank, Your Mum Kid, Honest Zabe, and Desharmo. So, to my eyes, that puts Honest Zabe on every list, which is not shocking. Ridiculous Hat on every list. What? No?
Not yours. You didn't put Zabe, right? Oh, no, you did.
He put him on.
Faux show. I think.
Never mind, I cannot read.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think Zabe is the most underrated player in THL. He consistently is just phenomenal and just never seems to get talked about like in that upper echelon of players, but he's so good.
I personally, my opinion on that is that I think what happened was when he first joined THL, he was good, but he's improved so much since then that it kind of just like, I think like people just didn't realize it at first, and it's just, yeah, like the man is just really good. Like I played him, I think, during his first season, and I can't help but think to myself now, if I played him now, he would whoop my ass.
I also realized...
I played the first time, that's never going to happen again, I can already tell.
I also realized I'm totally an idiot. I made Liquid Ox MVP and then didn't put him in the top 10 because I'm an idiot. So you can lop Eggo Waffle off there, and no offense, that puts Eggo Waffle in my 11th slot. I think I just assumed that I started with Liquid Ox. So let me go ahead and rewrite history real quick for you guys. Just pretend that nothing you see here is the truth and your eyes are lying to you.
It's also worth noting Desharmo is on all three of our lists as well.
I mean, if you're going to pick somebody, picking the guy who was previously the best player in THL for an entire season, you can do a lot worse than that.
I don't think I've ever told him this, but my nickname for Desharmo is Mr. Clutch.
I believe. I mean, that's totally fine.
Yeah, that makes
totally
sense.
Good name. Hey, look, Liquid Ox is on there. Congrats, buddy, you made it.
I mean, there's at least 2 occasions I can think of where he picked up huge wins for his teams that helped get them into playoffs, one of which being our hero team a long time ago. So, I mean, it definitely sums him up as far as, like, you know, he performs under pressure.
Well, we'll have to see when we get to the end of the season, because these are all, like, All-Pro, unlike All-Stars and Legacy and Hero, is not a vote. It is purely stat-based. So these will be good predictions to see if they hold up. We don't have to worry about whether or not someone got voted in over another person who we felt was more deserving, because it's only going to be the stats that dictate this. So we'll see. We'll come back to this one. We'll come back to all these at the end of the season. But the next thing we want to talk about here is the comeback player, aka most improved player. So the criteria for this one, as we know, is poor Eggo Waffle getting kicked from Donde. See, Eggo Waffle being 11th isn't bad. That doesn't mean he's a bad player. It just means that there's 10 people who are going to do better than him. So, most improved player, biggest record jump from the season prior. So, funny enough, 2 of us had 2 players, whereas Lotus only picked 1 because he was slacking. Just saying, man. Like, I didn't tell you to pick 2. I couldn't decide between 2, and it looked like JR couldn't decide between 2, so we just rolled with it.
Fair.
Here we go. So my two are A2, Battleship, and Coles. We have, for some reason, I wrote JRJuggerLaw, and it lopped the W off your name on Lotus's list. So he thinks you're the most improved player. And then you've got Dr. Bomb D and It's Me, Mike V, as your two players that you feel are the most going to be the most improved. So,
I couldn't decide between the two of them.
Yeah.
Also, Lotus, thank you so much. I hate to quote you, but I feel like you're going to be wrong. Maybe not. If I could
Prove me right, please.
Season, then that would be amazing, just because of how frustrated I was with my performance last season. But yeah, I'm giving most improved to Doc and Mike, just because to one of them, because I feel like both of them are in very similar positions. They both like Doc did what was subbing for I forget which team, but like I know he didn't really wasn't on a super like active team as far as I could tell that was like really competitive, was really like in the run. And Mike was also on a similar team. I think was also on that same team, and both had mentioned to me like they wanted to make sure communication was more highly prioritized. And I feel like with a better team environment now, they're way more likely to thrive.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable take. Yeah. For me, I think A2, I know he's good friends with Avi, and he's a very strong player. He came out of the gates a little bit slow last season, picked it up towards the end of the season, and kind of got into a rhythm. And I think he'll carry that over in the season and have a good one. Coles didn't have a bad season. He was right around 500, but I know what type of player he is. I know he's capable. If he gets a couple better breaks here and there, a couple better hands, he's gonna take off. So I'm ready for him to really, hopefully, carry our team Typhoon style. But if I can pass him briefly and take over a top seed just to, keep my ego a little bit higher than his, then that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I would add, if I have the chance for a second player, it is probably Better Donde, because Better Donde is going to come back this season and just do...
Hey, Donde was good last season.
I was going to say, like, wait, and I was going to ask, like, how did Coles do last season?
He went, I want to say 5-6 or 6-5, maybe?
I felt like I was gonna say like that's not like great, but that doesn't feel like bad. Like
no, it isn't awful.
No. Yeah, no, I just really wanted to focus on people who at least like had like a fair bit more losses than wins, and were who I felt could really like improve upon that by a great margin. Because I also feel like with a 5-6 record, you're not necessarily likely to improve upon that a great deal.
That's how confident I am in him taking off this season. He's been dominant in Legacy for quite some time, and I really think that he's got the juice in Pro. So we'll see.
Well, both of y'all have beaten me in Legacy, so that goes a long way.
And either way, if I'm wrong, that just means I reverse jinxed him and I win. So I win either way.
But he's your teammate.
That is true.
But more important than him being my teammate, he's my best friend. And so as best friend, I only want the worst for him.
Would this also apply to Jammies or no?
Oh, I love Jammies to death.
That's what I mean. So would you be saying the same thing about him? I'm just curious.
I haven't known Jammies in real life for 25 years, though.
Fair enough.
But Jammies, I love you, dude. I need more of you. He randomly showed up in our Hero Discord. So he's been in there because he's on the team from 2 seasons ago. He randomly just popped in with an opinion on something, and I was like, man, you need to show up more. I need you and your glorious mustache to have opinions on things.
That is a glorious stash. I won't deny.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I go to his Twitter profile just to look at it.
Yeah.
That's weird. Fun
fact, Jammies is the only player that I've played in all 3 standard series.
That is a fun fact.
I know.
So let's talk about Best New Team. That's our final award that we can give away here. And the Best New Team, both Lotus and I have Every Day We Trifling, and this is just kind of a nod up to our power rankings above. And JR, you have Due Process as your Best New Team. So I think these are...
Shocker.
I think when we were looking at the teams that are qualified for this, Every Day We Trifling is new. Technically, obviously, Wash You Misha's is new. Due Process, Save the Blazes Home, and Serenity are I think there was 5 of them. Every Day is technically a new team because the criteria is 3 players who have never played with each other in Pro before.
And that was the criteria I went off with in choosing my team. That was what.
Yeah, we weren't 100% sure. I think we were close on every day we trifling whether or not they qualified. Looking at Taste the Rainbow from last season, your Mumked, Inzi, and Skittles, but Skittles is the captain and was not a player this season, so technically it is a new team. On the technicalist of technicalities, but for me, if you were going to look at my power rankings, and let's say every day we trifling didn't count, I have Washing Mishas as the highest of those remaining 4 teams. So I would say Washing Mishas would be my best new team if every day we trifling didn't count. So
Serenity all the way,
and Serenity for Lotus. So there you go, C-Mac. I know you had questions there, but we gave you an alternate just in case it doesn't count for you. So there we go. So that's our potential awards. We will screen cap this, put it up in your Discords, whatever you need to do. We'll come back to it when we finish up the season here, the regular season at the very least, before we give away the awards in the postseason. So that leaves us only with the week 1 predictions. And man, I'm just noticing we're at 70 minutes on this stream, so we're a little bit over our hour that we normally like to keep to. So we'll keep these predictions somewhat brief, but we are going to talk about every match as we pull these up on screen here. I just wanted to pop back to our cams here so you know that we're not sleeping or anything. I mean, Lotus could be. He's just a gift. So, but this way,
I'm always sleeping.
We like to go to the agenda screen here, so that way Saku has a great spot that he can pick out when we're moving on to a new topic, so you can timestamp the videos on YouTube. If you haven't gone to YouTube to see our channel, it's fantastically curated by Saku, and he timestamps all the videos. So please check that out, and make sure to say thank you to him, because without him, we wouldn't have YouTube videos. He just started doing it one day, and I just kind of let him do it, because I was like, you do it faster, better, and more efficiently than I do. So thanks, buddy, as always. I've been stalling basically while I set the stream up for the next thing, but we're ready, so let's go. So here's our 6 matches for the week. We basically saw them as we went through the list of the teams here. So yet again, we will discuss everything in alphabetical order, starting with Bad to the Bone versus Aeon. This is a pretty big early season matchup here, and I don't know. I gotta have faith in my team. Aeon, I already feel like we've been prepping more this season than we did last season. So, Lotus, you get your hands full with Markshire. He did surprisingly well. Surprisingly, he will tell you well in March Madness. So be ready for him. He's been talking up a big game. He's been saying, Lotus, I think he's trash, and I'm gonna sweep him. He has never said that.
I want to know that the only match win or single game win Markshire has against me in THL was from a steal through the board for something that they actually said afterwards that was wrong. So I'm 6-0 against Markshire. I will know that.
I like how I said a joke and you really went in on him.
I'm just joking with it. No, I think this is going to be a fun match. Markshire is a great player, and he is a good comeback player because he was also my first opponent when I joined Hero for the first time. So this is going to be fun to see.
All right, JR, what do you think about this one? Who's going to win it?
Oh, God. Like, why did I have to... Like, this is the one I don't want to pick because I have to offend one of you.
You're going to have to pick all 6 of them, man.
Oh, it's fine.
That's true.
We don't get offended here.
No, see, I really do feel like Bad to the Bone is going to have a really good season, but I feel like I have to go with Aeon just because I'm predicting them to win it all.
That's how you get invited back to the stream, my friend.
Ah,
right there. You've
awesome.
unlocked it. You've unlocked the secret.
Yes!
That's true.
Yeah,
I agree that no matter what, this is going to be
I will just say I'm very confident this is going to come down to this is going to be a very close, 3-2 match win. There's regardless of who wins, I don't think it's going to be a dumb win by either team. So, let's see what happens.
All right.
So, just because people were asking for more Rihanna references, I will make one, and I'll say that we can be bad, but we're perfectly.
I don't listen to nearly enough Rihanna to know the reference.
Just don't listen to Birthday Cake Remix and you'll thank me later.
I don't even know the original.
Good.
That's good.
You have no idea how good that is.
Let's go into Due Process versus F2L. So F2L pretty much unstoppable for 2 straight seasons. Can due process
Oy.
stop them here in week 1? I know you didn't want this matchup week 1, but you have a chance to really, start off and put a stamp on where you're going this season. So what do you think's going to happen here, JR?
Oh, God. I mean, here's the thing. If I say I actually think we could win this, are you guys going to think I'm insane? That's the question right now.
No, because I think confidence in your team is not only healthy, but you should have confidence in your team. You picked the players, and you're gonna ride or die with them for the next 11 weeks.
Well, I mean, that's
Up
the
to
thing.
13, potentially.
I will just say, I am pretty confident in my team's abilities. It's more so that you never know with these matches. And I haven't also had a chance to really analyze all the lineups to see if I think there's, how favored they may look. I guess I also think, I feel like my match with Bobson is going to be the first one played, and that's going to set the tone. I feel like we'll see. I am very anxious to play him tomorrow, and I'm still figuring out my deck. We are playing tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time because of the time difference. On the earlier side, I honestly wouldn't mind being on stream for this, but it is what it is. Either way, we're gonna hopefully make this a fun. But yeah, I'm gonna give the slight edge to my team, if only because the last time I thought my team was gonna get our asses kicked by this team, we almost won. It literally came down to myself versus Snake, and I don't know what happened. I don't know. I feel like I probably screwed up that match more than I realized, even though I acknowledge that Snake is a really good player. I just hope that, I guess more than anything, I'm hoping Icon and all those guys are looking at us and going, we still got to take them seriously. Because I feel like it's too easy for people to just be like, oh, they're not going to be an issue. We'll win. I don't want us to be seen as an easy victory. So let's do this.
I don't think you win two championships in a row by taking any team, lightly. So
that's fair.
I would imagine that, knowing how Rabobson preps, and I can only imagine that everybody else is the same on F2L, that they're gonna bring their A game, especially being a new season. Right now they got 0 points, they're tied with everybody else, and they want to be back at the top. They want to be by themselves at the top with 23 points if they can.
That's fair.
So there's no reason for them to not take you guys seriously, whether or not that helps you in the way you feel about it. I don't know, but yeah, this is a lot of great players, a lot of tough players. Rabobson already won in Legacy this week, so he's got to win in THL this season already now, which I am appreciative of as a teammate. But I said Liquid Oxygen.
Zilfs.
I know, that's Zilfs, man. Liquid Oxygen.
What does that even stand for, by the way?
It's Hot Zilfs, and it stands for Here's Our Thinking. Zephyrus is lethal for sure. So
that's actually really good.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So I do have to prove this one going to F2L.
Yeah, I think for this one, it's going to come down to the team that puts the most work.
Oh my God!
But I think
FTL
does have the advantage.
Really?
He's been sitting on that for at least 2 minutes.
I'm so tempted to leave the call right now after that.
Oh, you're all going to take it out once I finish all my Rihanna references.
I like Rihanna, and I'm still losing my damn mind.
That was another reference, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Oh God, I hate everybody. Okay, we're moving on to For the Boys versus Stay the Blazes Home. For the Boys, we had both of these teams rated in the bottom 4, but consistently, I think For the Boys was rated slightly higher. So I gotta say that I think For the Boys is probably my pick this week. But it's hard to know. I just don't know much about most of the players in Stay the Blazes Home, and I've got nothing really to base any of it on. So I'm gonna say For the Boys with the win, if only because of their experience as a whole in THL.
Seconded.
Yeah, I think I have to give it to them. It's most likely hard to diagnose. We don't know anything about Stay the Blazes Home, so I think it's going to be For the Boys for the reason that we just don't know enough. We'll see next week. This is also a good match to get a diagnostic just because of what we expect For the Boys.
For sure. And I think we're gonna come to the same conclusion here in the next one. And I do apologize that screenshots were taken before the subs were entered because I'm a conscientious stream op who sets up his stream much in advance as he possibly can. So Taplast versus Serenity is our next match. Typhoon versus GCT Turth is one heck of a match, and I think this will really.
You guys should play on.
Yeah, that would be if they can make the time difference work for GCT Turth. But yeah, this is a heck of a match. I think I got to give it to Taplast. There's just so much power here, and again, don't know enough about Serenity to say otherwise. But GCT Turf should not be taken lightly, and could definitely upset Typhoon, and it wouldn't be that much of a shocker to me. Not that Typhoon's a bad player; Typhoon's a fantastic player, but GCT Turf is very good too.
Yeah, I wouldn't call this an upset if any of them win. They're just both very good players.
But yeah, Taplast. Got it. Yeah, I think Serenity's time zone's going to make Serenity hard. C-Max right entirely. But yeah, hopefully, we try to accommodate as much as possible. Obviously, more time in the middle of the day. A lot of people are home now thanks to the lockdowns. So hopefully that will allow us to get some of the odder houred streams online for everybody if we can secure the teams. But we'll have to see. JR, anything on this match here before we move on?
No, I think you guys have really covered everything. I don't think there's really anything I can add.
All right. So let's move on to every day we changing our team name to versus the Beard Boys. And that's this one's good. This is a good matchup here. I like Everyday We Trifling a lot, and I had the Beard Boys right up in the top 5. So this one to me has the makings of like a 14-13, 13-12 slugfest, somewhere in that range.
Yes.
And yeah, this is going to be good. I'm going to slightly give the edge to Everyday We Trifling. I'm going to go with wins for your Mumkhead, Little Hearthy, and Jimmy Eat Shoes. And Inzi and Lesmos get the win for the Beard Boys, but it'll be a lot of 3-2s and maybe a 3-1 mixed in here. But that's these are two teams that unfortunately they're going to end up being like 6th or 7th in the rankings after week 1 because they just both took chunks out of each other after this first match.
I think there's something to say about that, both for the Triflin versus Beard Boys match and the Bad to the Bone versus Aeon. These are both matches of teams that I expect to be close. And so I think both teams will be middle of the pack afterwards because of it. And yeah, I think it's so hard to predict this match. Both teams can do really well. I would give it myself to Triflin, but I think it's possible to go both.
I think that's going to be a common theme when it comes to predicting matches in pro in general, since, there's no, PR, and it feels like, in some respects, you kind of expect players to do really well, but the truth of the matter is anything's possible, more so than ever. I mean, even if you look at F2L, just to give you an example, last season, they still had 3 losses in spite of winning the championship, so, a lot of things can happen as far as match results.
And I will say too, if you look at individual players' results, the players that made All Pro, the lower, in the top 10, were still 7-4 players. So those are records they're good records. But if you look at those records compared to some the knockout records in Legacy and Hero, with the disparity between the players being so much closer in Pro, a 7-4 season is fantastic and gets you into the top 10 in Pro, whereas a 7-4 season in Legacy probably makes you top 20. Top 25 maybe, because you got a bunch of players that are gonna just wreck at their seed or move up a little bit during the course of the season with an 8-9 or maybe even a 10-win season. So yeah, I like this matchup a lot. I would hesitate to say it's the match of the week, but I think it's the one of the week. I think it's the match of the week personally. So finally, we have the Unknown versus Washu Mishas. I would have potentially listed this one as an upset win for Washu originally, but I feel like the Unknown's going to kind of rally with the loss of Desharmo this week, and I think they're going to pick it up and get the W for the captain. So I'm going to make a last second swap to the Unknown, with the Unknown being winning in a tight one over Washu. But I think Washu is going to show that they belong in Pro this first week and continue to be strong throughout the course of the season.
I would say if they were playing against a different team, I'd probably feel more inclined to give Washu will pull up an upset. But at the same time, I can't say I'll be all that surprised if they do end up doing really well. it's like, I'm just kind of when I'm putting them pretty low in the rankings, it's like, well, it's kind of just a light prediction. I'm in no way saying I have any real substance to say they're not going to do well. Like, this could end up being the real sleeper team of the season. So if that's the case, I'm all for it.
I said the same thing about Not YJs, and they made me look good last season. I thought that they were going to be a sleeper hit, and they were. They didn't end up making the playoffs, but they were right there the whole time. So I think that's kind of what I expect out of the Mishas. Lotus, what do you think here?
I think the Mishas can be good. I just don't know enough, again, to say much. I still think the Unknown has this match, and yeah, they don't have the Sharmo, but I'm sure they'll get a good sub, and it's going to be fun there. The Unknown is just such a strong team, and they've been putting in the work. They know what to do to win pro games, so I expect them to do well.
They did not get a good sub. They got Isocles.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
Well, it happens.
I knew he was in chat. I was waiting for it. Yes. No, Isocles is great. He's a great player.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised I mean, the only reason I'm sure he's not playing pro is because he didn't want to play that many series. But he is fantastic, and will ask. Okay, Donde Josh Reed here this season. I'm not. I'm down. I'm down to scrim anytime, my friend. I'm down to scrim anytime.
Rip.
We didn't. If you happen to watch the March Madness stream from the other night, where we just basically kicked around for an hour while waiting for a match that never happened, and we memed it up. But somehow Isocles and I did not play. I ended up playing against Brushy Tuna in Meme Town. So, it was a lot of. It was interesting as we tried to be entertaining for an hour with really no purpose or plan. So, hopefully we succeeded. I don't know, But no, the team will be good. The team will be fine, and Isocles will be a good sub for the Unknown this week. Viewers did go up. It was very weird. We have no idea why you guys liked us being stupid. So
because it's in tone.
I mean, people just want to watch.
People just want to watch. That's and we want you to watch. People do love. Tuna is so hype. He loves being on stream so much. Like, he's just a showman. Great sandwich choice. No, let's stop before we say things we can't take back, Isocles. Great sandwich. I would say is C+ sandwich choice at best. So maybe we'll have to power rank sandwiches at some point here this season. So that's our show. That's everything. That's everything we want to talk about. It's week one is kind of a deeper dive since we have so much to discuss. Opinions on April Absurdity. You know what? C-Mac, why don't we kick around for a little? Let's kick some April Absurdity opinions here. Let me pull up the bracket real quick.
I was gonna say I'm gonna need to see that.
I almost I almost hit control on Google and it said, "Do you really want to open 23 tabs?" No, I absolutely do not want to open 23 tabs.
No, do not.
Please let me just open one tab. Let's see. All right. We are gonna hide the completed rounds here so I can actually see what's going on. So I posted in Discord earlier. We've got 5 people now in the top 8. So Starlax and Heatshock are playing in the Sweet 16 to see who will get to face C-Mac in the top 8. I had personally predicted Desharmo to come out of this area here. So right now I'm already off base, but I think it'll end up being Heatshock in the Elite 8 from here, playing C-Mac. C-Mac has been just dumping on people, so to think that he's not going to make the Final Four is probably a risky decision. So I'll say Heatshock into C-Mac, then C-Mac ends up winning here. Hold on. Forgot to post the bracket in chat so that way you can follow along. Inzi has been waiting for his opponent, which is R-Hat, in the top 8. I have R-Hat winning it all, so I have R-Hat winning this match because that's not changing. Liquidox is waiting for the winner of Honest Zabe versus the winner of Avi versus the Big Ted, so that's still a ways off, but I had Avi winning there, and I have Zabe making it to the Final Four, so I think it'll be Liquidox versus Zabe ultimately, with Zabe making the Final Four. And then lastly, we have Valdez waiting on the winner of Ron Mexico versus Eggo Waffle. Seriously, Ron, stop watching the stream and go play. And that'll be versus Valdez. Then the winner of that plays Catman. So I had Robobson winning this, so my whole thing is destroyed. So I'm going to say Ron gets ahead of Eggo. And then Ron beats Valdez. And then Ron beats Catman to make the Final Four. Sylvanas region has no time for games. That's very true. Weirdly enough, Mysterious Challenger was the slowest region to start with, and then they've kind of picked up the pace a little bit. Hey, Ron, now shut up and go play.
Yeah.
You guys have any opinions on the bracket here before we close up shop?
Well, I feel like I would definitely love to see what I think is going to be Abi versus Zay match. And then the winner of that playing Liquidox, like that's going to be some intense matches. Ron versus Ego, I know he already said in chat that they'll be playing on Ego's stream, so that'll be fun. God, yeah, this is going to be... there's so many players in here, and it's like very crazy just kind of how the bracket wound up. Because we did see some pretty big upsets. We did see some players not make it as far as like we may have expected. Looking at the caliber of players who've made like the top 16 at least, as well as some who've made the top 8, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty... I wouldn't say entirely expected, but like, it's, there's some pretty big names here and some sleeper players, if you want to call it that, some underdogs. So I like the mix. But I have no idea who's going to win it all. That's a tough call to make.
That, I jokingly purged Raw Mexico and deleted 48 messages. That's my bad, buddy. Can I undo that?
Damn.
That was a lot of messages.
Savage.
I just tried to delete one. He 12-12 Edwin me in chat.
To quote a certain skit, you done messed up, AA Ron.
I did mess up. So yeah, April Absurdity still going strong. Hopefully we finish it before May, but I doubt it because we're only 3 days left in the month. But yeah, it's gonna be May Madness by the time we get done with it. Thank you, Blizzard, for the rando nerfs that were necessary, by the way, necessary nerfs, but really, really slowed us up here in getting this thing off the ground. So, yeah, so this should be cool. We'll see who ends up taking it all over the next, like, maybe week or so, and hopefully get those last sorry, Ron, last games on stream if we can. So that's it. That's it for us. Thanks for watching tonight, everybody. Thanks for hanging out in chat. Lotus, as always, thank you for being here. And JR, thank you for guesting on the show for the first time.
Thank you for having me once again.
Absolutely. May Marathon. Yeah, we got to keep coming up with new names. We're going to be in June by the time we know it. That's it for us. Thanks again. Good luck in your matches in week 1 here and going forward the rest of the season. And we will see you back here next Wednesday. Thursday night is Tavern Talk night, so come back around tomorrow evening for Tavern Talk and enjoy the legacy discussion. Hopefully, it's half as good as what we had tonight. We'll see. We'll see what they've got in store for you. We had no hype trains tonight going on behind us, and certainly no police calls on us, which was a good step up from Saloon's antics.
And no children to scare us from behind unintentionally.
Yes, no, she was very asleep. I'm just kidding, Ron. I had to bag on you one more time, and no, Saloon was fun. And Ron's got a very silky smooth voice, which we all love to hear. So. He is a great addition to Saloon this season.
I would love to see him like cast a match with Brass.
We'll get him.
That would be fun.
We'll get Ron on if he wants to cast some matches. Absolutely. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for us. Thanks again. Have a great night, and we will see you next week. Have a good one.
Thank you all.
Take care, everybody.